Hi, I'm Jearnest Corchado. You can find me on Little Americas on Apple TV Plus, and I'm over here talking with Elias from the Man Cave Chronicles.
Welcome to another episode of the Man Cave Chronicles.
Welcome to the party, pal!
You're my boy, Blue!
Yo, Adrian!
A podcast with interviews of amazing guests from the world of pop culture.
Oh, yeah!
TV.
Nice!
Movies.
Oh, I love the movies!
Comedy and more. From deep inside the Man Cave, your host, Elias.
Jearnest, welcome to the cave.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you? What's new with you?
I am good. A lot of good things are happening. Little America just dropped about almost a month ago, and I feel like my life is changing every day. One day at a time. But
that's great.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah. When I was doing some research on you, I noticed that you've been busy with various TV shows. You've done a few film appearances, and like you said, the Apple TV Little America, and we'll talk about that. But I want the listeners to get to know a little more about you. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Puerto Rico, born and raised.
How was it growing up
there? It was pretty amazing, honestly. I don't think I would be the person that I am today without that upbringing. I have a huge family, so it was, everyone, all my family was there. I have probably about 75 or more cousins, close cousins. I have so many uncles and aunts and a very, I just have a very close family. So growing up there was very beautiful. I got to go to, I had a normal upbringing. I went to school. I changed 3 times. I started acting when I was 8 years old. I was obsessed with telenovelas and Disney Channel, and I told my mom, I was like, oh my God, I want to be like those kids on TV. And, in Puerto Rico, there's not that much opportunity for kids or for adults to do film or cinema. I mean, at least back then it was very, very low, the amount of opportunities, and they always kind of kept, they kind of always worked with the same people. So it was really hard for me as a kid to do much, but I remember taking classes every Saturday of acting and eventually I did a few things. I had my first opportunity to work on a show. It was kind of like an anthology series. It was called Esto Pasa Aquí, and I remember it was my first lead role on a TV show. So I worked as a girl that was getting adopted, and so after that, then I did a novela as well. It was little things here and there. And so I kept doing that. I kept studying acting over there. I was in a class for psychology of acting when I was 13 with adults. That kind of changed my life too.
Wow.
So I became more mature. I was always very mature for my age because I think through acting you become very mature. You have to analyze humans so young, So I think acting really made me very more mature than a lot of the kids my age. So when I was 13, I took this psychology of acting class with people that were older than 25 or 30 and 40 and even 50. And it was really interesting. I think that's when I started learning a lot more about humans. And after that, a little bit after that, 2 years after that, this camp called Celebrity Actors Camp back then, it was run by Adrian Armante, who was Esteban Ramirez Montoya from Zack and Cody. I don't know if you remember that show on Disney Channel.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so he came and he was trying to find, talent, young kids who wanted to be in Hollywood. And I remember basically, and this is something that I want to bring up right now. It's the fact that I feel like I've always been a very strong believer in that things come to you sometimes, that if you pray for them and if you really ask the universe for them, that you ultimately the universe will put them in your journey or will somehow get you there. And so I remember it's funny because if you have time I'll tell you this story, but basically I had a cousin like someone from the family, like an uncle told me, he was like making fun of me because his niece, which I didn't know at the time, she was like chosen for this camp that came from Disney, and he was basically like, he didn't know much, so he was like, oh my god, my niece is going to go to Disney, she's going to go to Disney, and you've been working all your life, and what are you doing, like why are you not in Disney, you know? And so I'm like young, I'm like 14, 15 years old, and I'm like, wow, like I missed my opportunity, like I didn't know about these auditions, so I'm like, I remember like probably crying or something. I'm like, oh my god, I'm not going to be like an actress. I'm not going to go to Hollywood. I'm not going to go to Disney. Like, I missed my opportunity. And I remember telling this to my best friend, and my best friend said, oh my god, yeah, like this guy from school also got picked. It's like a camp on Disney. I'm like, oh my god, he did too? Like, how did I not know about this? And so eventually, like 3 days pass, and I'm already like super depressed. I'm like, oh my god, I lost my chance. And my best friend calls me. It's a Friday night, and she calls me, and she's like, Jearnest, pick up, I have the phone number. I heard on the radio that they're doing auditions. Call. So I call, and someone picks up. It's like already like 8 p.m. or something. They're like, yes, we're actually holding auditions tomorrow at 9 a.m. in this like place, which is like 2 hours away from where I lived, Fajardo. And I'm like, oh my god, yes, perfect. And so I basically go, and I basically take I asked my grandparents to take me because my mom couldn't, and my grandparents go and take me, and I'm like, oh my god, like I see Phil Lewis, who was like Mr. Mosby at the time, and Zach and Cody. I'm like, oh my god, this is real, like this guy that I've been seeing on TV, like it's real.
Yeah.
So they had like this commercial audition, and I remember doing the commercial audition. It was like a Pepsi or something, like Coca-Cola or something like that audition, and I did it. And then he was like, okay, well, thank you. And I was like, no, wait, can I like improv for you, please? Like, this is not enough. Like, I need to improv for you. And he's like, oh yeah, absolutely. So I like decided to do this improv where like my mom was crying, and I like started. I mean, my mom had died, and like I started crying, and he was like, oh my god, like yeah. And I was like, yeah, I needed it was like my one chance. So I feel like after that, I got the call. I got the call that I was chosen for this camp, and that's where I feel like my life started changing. After that,
how old were you at that camp?
I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah, I was probably like 14, 15. And yeah, like for me, it was just like, it felt like, because in Puerto Rico, there's nothing, nothing at the time, like nothing that I could have done that could like at least put me in the right path of like something bigger than what I was already doing. Because you live in an island, and sometimes you don't even realize. Like I grew up in an island. I didn't know that. I feel like you don't understand that you live in an island until you leave.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, I was in an island. Like there's not that much. Like you only have what you have. There's not like you don't have the opportunity of driving somewhere to get more opportunity. You're stuck. So when they came, it was like the first time that something that big had come to Puerto Rico, and it felt like I had to give it my all. Like I had to be 100%. I wanted that so badly, and that was the one thing that I have been dreaming my entire life. So for me, doing that audition was like, okay, I need to get this. Like I need to be on this camp. And when I get the call, I'm just like, we started doing the camp, and the camp was like every Saturday and Sunday, or I think it was every Sunday, for like 3 months. And then after that camp, you had the opportunity to meet agents from LA. But because it was Puerto Rico, a lot of agents didn't come. So Adrian told me, he's like, you should come to the camp here in LA over the summer. Like I'll be able to bring a lot of more people. You'll be able to be seen. And so a year after that, I was 15 or 16. I came to LA, to the camp, and that's really like when I was like, oh, this is Hollywood. Oh, this is a business. Oh, okay. Like that's when my dream changed, and I don't know, it changed, but really like I started thinking of it as like a more realistic thing, and that it was more possible than ever. So
when you went there, did you decide to stay there, or did you go back to Puerto Rico and then move back to LA?
So I was in 11th grade. I was like in the summer between 11th and senior year. And I went and I wanted to stay. Like I had a lot of agents that wanted me, but my parents wouldn't move for me. Like that was something that, and the funny part is that when my mom comes to this camp with me, she's like feeling like homesick. She's like, oh, I don't know. Like I'm like throwing up. Like I'm feeling sick. I'm like, I feel like I'm homesick. And when we come back to Puerto Rico, because the program was like only a month long, we come back, the doctor tells her that she's pregnant.
Oh.
So on top of that, like she's like about to have another baby, and I didn't have like really much of a chance to stay at that time. So what I did was, okay, I want to finish senior year in Puerto Rico with my friends. I want to have like a normal like senior experience, and then after that, I'll just come to college. And that was like my idea. That was like, okay, like I'm just gonna. I already have this. I want to come to LA. I already know. So I'm gonna. I started applying for all these colleges, and I ended up getting picked by CSULA, which was a state university, and I did my years there.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So while you were going in
Yeah.
school there, I assume you kept going with your acting classes and everything too.
Yeah. So I went. Yeah, I did. So I entered the theater program, and I took acting classes, which were amazing acting classes. And I did dancing as well. And then when I finished all of those programs, I was like, you know what? I really don't want to learn about stagecraft. I did stagecraft and all of those things, but I didn't want to. I wanted to do something more related to film. So I transferred, and I went to. I changed majors, and I went to the film and TV production classes, and I learned that I really liked producing, and I liked having some sort of control, because I got my first agent when I got here, like the first month in. I had a 5-year plan, and my 5-year plan was I'm going to get an agent, I'm going to get a manager, and I'm going to do acting and singing and dancing classes. And that was it. I didn't expect to book anything. I didn't expect to do anything. I was like, this is my 5 years to do this,
Yeah.
to train. And somehow I don't know, I reached out to a couple managers and agents, and in less than a month I had an agent and a manager.
Wow.
And I was like, oh,
That's
okay,
fast.
this is fast. Okay, so I'm going to school studying, and also, you know, this is the first time that I'm like, I have a car here. Thank God I had a car at the moment. And I was just learning my way through LA. I was 17, and I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's learn. I went to Valencia to meet the first manager. So I don't know. I had some courage that now looking back, I'm like, wow, like you traveled all the way to Valencia to meet these managers that you have never known, but you just went with it. And
yeah.
And
Well, sometimes when you want something, you just got to go do it.
You really do. You really do. There's no, as much as I believe in the universe giving you what is for you, you have to also work for it. You have to put the effort. You have to believe in yourself 100%. Because this career, like, I came here and I had a million no's. I've been having them. Like, you know, it's normal. It's normal to get a million no's. And so I think that's also why I decided to be in film, because I wanted to create my own films. Back when I got here, which was 5 years ago, I think 5 to 6 years ago, I don't think that there was that many opportunities for Latinos still. This shift of diversity just happened like 3 years ago, really. And so I'm like auditioning for these things, and I remember auditioning for Sharp Objects, and it was like one of this big, like it was a big audition for me, and I don't know, like the director really loved me, and I think it was the thing. I think it may have been the fact that I was Latina, and they were they needed like that Southern vibe, where like everyone is white, and it was like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I didn't book that sort of because of that. I mean, they never told me, so I don't know. but it felt to me, it was like, oh, I'm Latina. Like, unless the role is written for a Latina or someone minority, I will most likely not get it. So I decided to be study producing and learning how to write and do that. So one day so I could do that for myself.
And you could do the best of both worlds, act and you could do behind the scenes too.
Exactly. And have some more control, because I kept going to all these auditions and I didn't really have any control. I felt like I was in their, like, it was their power, and I just felt like I wanted some sort of power, some sort of power of my destiny, and over my future. So, I mean, so far, like, everything that I've done, it's thanks to that same route, which is auditioning and getting to network and getting to meet people and just doing the work. But I certainly still want to have that sort of power, and I have the knowledge now to, whenever I want to create a film or produce a film or, develop a project, now I can, and I have the connections to do so. Because I met a lot of filmmakers, which was like the best thing I could have done, to meet other people that thought like me.
So now, like we mentioned earlier, you recently starred in Apple TV's Little America.
Yeah.
Can you tell the listeners what the show is about?
Yeah, so Little America is an anthology series. It's a dramedy that focuses on immigrants. It highlights the beautiful lives of immigrants, and it also highlights their lives in a beautiful light. They're not. It's so different from what we've seen in the past. It's a show that every episode is different. So every episode focuses on a different culture or a different race, and we get to fall in love with their family and their roots, and we get to fall in love with each character and their journey in America, or why they came to the United States, and why did they stay in the United States. So it's so beautiful because every episode is so different, and yet you realize that no matter how different you can be, no matter how different your language is, no matter how different your culture is, we are all the same. We have a beautiful humanity, and I think that especially now, what's going on, with the awful things that are happening to kids, getting put in cages because of papers, like something that they can't control.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so sad because we talk about immigrants, and usually in the news you talk about immigrants, but they don't give a humanity. They don't give a humanity to these people. People sometimes get so lost in, like, well, they don't have papers. They came in here illegally. They treat them like objects, like things. And I think that Little America, in some way, gives these people, give immigrants a power, a voice that we don't usually get in media.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, yeah, and in a beautiful way, it never was meant to be political. I mean, some people say that, Little America can't be political. It's never meant to be political.
Yeah.
We're just talking about humans.
That's
and
right.
the fact that, because these humans are from a different culture, it's political. That doesn't make it political. We just want to tell these stories in the most authentic, beautiful way we can, and to open the eyes to everyone around the world. It's like, hey, we are all the same, no matter who you pray to, no matter what you believe, no matter what your language is. We all want to be happy. We all want a better life. We all want to follow our dreams. And I think that's what Little America has and gets to do for immigrants and for Hollywood right now, and for everyone around the world. It just tries to let us know it's like, hey, we're all the same.
And now you play Marisol. How would you describe her?
So Marisol is, another thing that's amazing about Little America is that every story is based on a real life story. And Marisol is based on the real life story of Reina Pacheco, she's a professional squash player, amazing girl. We've become really good friends. Before I got the role, I didn't know her. So I was really basing my choices and everything on the script and in the direction that Aurora was giving me, the director. But basically, Marisol is someone who at first doesn't have much hope. She doesn't have papers, so she thinks that dreaming big is not possible. She doesn't think that she can dream because how is she going to get to college? How is she going to be able to do these things that, people like her don't do? Or in her mind, she thinks, well, I don't have papers. I can't dream. I can't be better than, she has kind of this barrier or this wall up in her mind. And, she comes from a poor background. She doesn't have much money to even get a good pair of shoes. And at the time she's struggling because she doesn't have good shoes. And she finds out that there's this urban program, squash program, that has shoes that will give kids free squash shoes to play squash, to learn squash. And so this is really what takes her to learn what squash is, the need of shoes. And she goes to this urban program, and then she discovers that she loves it, that she's good at it. And the coach sees something. He sees a fire in her. And he encourages her to keep coming and playing squash. And eventually she gets so addicted to playing squash. She's so good that this is what takes her in this journey of learning how to play squash. And eventually she realizes that she can do something with squash, that she can become a United States. This is something that she never expected in the first place, but eventually she even gets her papers and her family's papers. And she eventually, her whole life changes because of that one, sport that basically gave her the hope that she needed. She didn't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, how long did it take you to learn how to play squash?
4 days.
Yeah.
So basically, I had a conversation with Aurora, which I got cast through tape audition. And so she calls me and she's like, hey, we're trying to see who we're casting. She wanted to just get a sense of who we were. And she asked me if I knew how to play squash. And I don't. I really don't. I don't know how to play squash, but I kind of knew how to play tennis. So to me, it was like, well, you hit with the racket, you hit the ball. So I guess I can learn that. I'm a very athletic person. I would love to learn. And so when I get the job, it was like a Monday. I get the job on a Monday, and then they fly me out on a Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. And I get to New Jersey, and I have a coach. His name was Eli, which was an amazing coach. I'm so grateful for him. And he taught me how to play in 4 days.
Wow.
I had to learn how to become a professional player in 4 days. And it was intensive, but it was amazing. It was really, really fun. It was a really cool, strategic. I don't know if you've ever played squash. Have you ever?
No, I've never
done
played
that?
squash. No.
It's so fun. You get addicted. I understand why, because it's such a strategic sport, because you're in this square basically, in this cubicle, and you in this cube, and then you have to basically be so focused that you never miss the ball. And you have to be strategic enough to hit the ball in a way that goes to a different direction, and the opponent doesn't know where it's going. So I think that's also the focus that I had to have for this role too, which it helped too. The fact that I had to be so focused on squash, it also put me in this very focused, determined mode. Also, when I was doing her that character, I had to be very focused throughout. And so basically, we did squash for 4 days, and then we worked for 8 days. We shot everything for 8 days. Yeah.
What do you think was the biggest challenge playing the character?
I think the biggest challenge was, in a way, to be as authentic as possible. I was playing Marisol, which is she's Mexican, and I wanted to be very authentic. I wanted to bring the accent. I wanted to be very authentic. I wanted to bring her humanity and her essence to life. And so, because I didn't get to have a chance to meet her, I was able to talk to the director, and we were able to find that and we wanted to find, the relationship that she had with the family too. And so it was really important to us to be as close to her story as we possibly could.
Yeah.
And be respectful too of her life and her journey. And I think for me, I remember my biggest thing was I had a picture of her. Even before in the audition, they gave me basically they gave me like this little bio of her, and I had her bio and I had a picture of her with the squash, with the racket. And I put that picture on my wallpaper throughout the whole time, through the time that I was there. And I think that seeing her in my phone was what continually grounded me. And to me, that was like, okay, like I'm doing this for her. I'm doing this for her. And I think
it kept you focused.
It kept me focused, and it kept me very driven to do everything, the way that she would have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that episode, do you have like a favorite moment or scene?
Oh, a favorite moment and scene, I would say, wow. It's so, I feel like every part is so special, but, I feel like it's crazy because I think one thing is doing it and then one thing is seeing it.
Yeah.
So when I was doing it, I think that one of the coolest episodes was, or the coolest parts was the final, like playing squash.
Yeah.
That the adrenaline that I had to have in that moment when we were shooting that was really fun. I think that for me was my favorite part, that the climax of it all, that it's like that moment where she's about to win or lose, or like, you don't know what's going to happen. I think that shooting that was really awesome. But I think my favorite part seeing it, I really loved the relationship with like the family. The family really, I really love every scene with the family. And I think even I have a scene where I'm asking my mom about her new boyfriend. And as an audience member, I feel like I love that scene so much because it's so relatable. Remember, like, you talk to your mom like that especially when in Latinos communities, I feel like you have that like friendship with your parents. And it's like, oh, like, ooh, who is he? And I think that's, in a way, I really relate to that a lot.
Yeah.
Of that little moment, that chemistry that we had as a family. I really love that. Especially that, yeah.
So you've been in the industry now for a few years. Do you have like a dream role that you want to play someday?
A dream role? Yeah, I feel like with Marvel, I feel like we're all over here trying to be heroes now.
Yeah.
As actors, I feel like that's like a big dream for everyone. I think as an actor, you want to be with the A-listers,
Yeah.
I think my dream job is just to be a part of that group of people. My dream job would be anything that takes me there. I would, my biggest dream right now, to be honest with you, is I would love to play Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez one day. You know who she is, right?
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about her. I'm trying to like remember it too.
Yeah, Alexandria AOC. She's the Congress. She's a part of the. She's from New York. She's a politician.
Okay. Yes.
From Puerto Rico.
Yep.
And she's such a strong. She's from New York, but she's such a strong woman, and she is. She's in the House. She's a representative. I hope I'm saying that right. But basically, she's such a strong woman. She's always having something to say, and she's always protecting the people. And I would love to at some day, when I'm a little older, to play her. I really would love to play her because I think she's an amazing woman and she needs a movie. So hopefully one day I get to play her.
So on your downtime, what do you enjoy doing when you're not working?
When I'm not working, I love working. I'm always kind of like obsessed with being busy.
Yeah.
But on my downtime, I love going to the movies. I love spending time with my friends. I really cherish my friends and my family, so I love spending time with them. I'm very sociable, So I'm always talking and always doing something. I love doing something with my friends. I love going to the beach. I love traveling. And right now I am in the works of doing a collection with Bonato Milano 1960. It's a company, a jewelry company from Monaco, and they approached me and they would like to make a collection with me. So right now that's where my focus is going. It's a collection that it's for jewelry. It's a jewelry collection, but it's more than that. Right now we are picking our charity. We would like to, I said to, like, one of the big conversations was for me, it's like, I don't really care about material things. I care about a message, and I care about impacting the world in a way. And for me, it's very important that we create a collection that signifies more than just jewelry. I want right now what I'm focusing on is talking. I want people to move, like, walk with purpose.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, 2020 is about walking with purpose, and I want the collection to, reflect who I am, and I want people to walk with purpose, to do things with purpose. I think that everyone in the world needs to do that right now. Whatever they do, whatever the dream is, whatever the goal is, I think they have to always think about the purpose behind it and what they're doing for the community and what they're doing for people.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think. Yeah, and going back with that reminded me a little bit about the urban program that changed Reina's life. I think that's also one of my favorite things about this show and this episode in particular is that this program, we need more programs like that change people's lives, that gives hope to people that don't have hope, that don't allow themselves to dream. I think that I really take that with me very, with my heart. I really cherish that about that episode, that it really shows the difference that you can make with just one program for kids in need. And so that's what I like to do. I like to do things that are fun, but I also like to do things that come with purpose, and hopefully that I keep doing that more and more as this year.
You seem like after talking to you seem like the type of person you just want to help everybody out and spread positivity. You just want to keep going with things.
Yeah. I think I love acting and I love this industry, but it wouldn't mean anything to me if I couldn't have a voice to do something more and bigger than me. And I want to. I've always been, and it's thanks to my parents, really, like my dad and my family have always been very spiritual and very good people, and very they've always told me the significance of family and love and forgiveness and spreading positivity, and I want to be able to do that with whatever I keep doing. I just want to always be able to change people's lives in a way. I think that some people get so lost in the moment and they get so lost in stupid things, they get lost in small things that don't really matter. And I feel like if we all as humans in general decided to understand that, hey, like, we're here together, that our relationships matter more, that our unity is more important, that we can do more together, and that we can change lives if we just are positive and we believe in. I think that we can just do more, and I feel like people need to become aware, and I think that people are doing it. I feel like this generations we're striving for something more. Mm-hmm. We want to have a purpose. We want to do things that mean something. Yeah. And hopefully I keep doing that for other people.
So lastly, Jearnest, how can the listeners and your fans find you on social media?
Yeah, so on Instagram, it's at Jearnest Corchado. So it's at JearnestCorchado. And on Twitter, it's at It's Jearnest. So at ITSJearnest. All right. And Facebook, Jearnest Corchado. Yeah.
All right. And I want to thank you for coming on. This was fun.
No, thank you so much for having me and giving me a chance to talk to you and spread some positivity. Yeah.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap, everybody. That's a wrap.
Thanks for listening to the Man Cave Chronicles podcast.
I finally get my man cave.
You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the MCC Podcast and our website, themccpodcast.com. Until next time.